Merc.
Cheers. And welcome to another episode of the Marlon vs. Marlon podcast. And I'm your boy Marlon.
And I'm your boy Marlon.
Joining us is two childhood friends, go back and forth, argue, debate, fight, sometimes maybe even agree on everything from sports, pop culture, and everything in between.
All right, on today's episode, as you can see, we have a special guest, Mr. Jamonn Little, is about to join us, get into these NBA playoffs. You know, that Damian already firing at it.
By the way, must have heard us talk about him.
By the way,
nah, you owe me a call back, Damian. You owe me a call back, brother.
Yeah, so that's Damian right there. So, what's up, Chad? By the way, Chad, before we get started, Wayne did announce No Ceilings 3 and Carter 6. So, No Ceilings 3 first, and then we got the Carter 6 coming. So, definitely looking forward to that. But we will get to all the NBA action that happened yesterday and today. But first, we will touch on a few topics before we get to that. With it being the 38th episode, we like to do the best players that wear number 38 and the number 8, just going back 30 episodes. 38 was pretty tough for me. I couldn't really find too many people in 38, so we're just going to do number 8. And, of course, everybody should know where I stand. Mr. Kobe Bean Bryant, rest in peace. So who you got?
Kobe, I think.
You think?
Yeah. Lamar Jackson.
Oh, boy.
No. Kobe, man.
Who you got, Jay?
Same here, Kobe.
Kobe, yeah. I mean, rest in peace. So Kobe Day his birthday is actually on Sunday, and then you have actual 8/24 Kobe Day on Monday. So
but we got a shout out. I'm sorry. I hate the 49ers, but we got a shout out. Steve Young wore number 8.
And your quarterback too?
My quarterback did wear number 8. I forgot Troy Aikman.
Yeah.
Shout him out.
That's on him. So
that's my quarterback. He was number 9. You know who I got next episode.
Oh my God. But yeah, I want to start off with a little something different. The guys we all talked about in pre-production, so we're going to talk about WAP. I'm just playing. All right, so
nah, do your part.
No,
go ahead. This was your topic.
So, NCAA, Justin Fields, Ohio State. We heard he came out yesterday demanding that his conference gets back into. Basically, they want to play. They want it to be left up to them if they want to play the full season or if they want to sit out. And I 100% agree with the man. I mean, it's when you look at the NCAA, the tournament, when all those seniors, they'll probably never play again. Some may get a chance to go overseas. Some may make it to the league, but a good chunk of those players will never play again. And it sucks to see that. So you get some seniors going into school this year, and this could be the final year that they could possibly play.
It's tough.
Yeah.
It really is tough. Because, I mean, you got to look at it from just multiple perspectives.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a money situation, so if they're not going to generate revenue, they don't want to play games. So they want to take those losses. But on the kids' side, yeah, they want to, be on the scene, be able to play, maybe get an opportunity to get a look, an opportunity somewhere else. So definitely understandable.
Right.
And I agree with both of y'all, man. I want to see college football, especially if the athletes and the athletes' families are okay with it. What's his name? Justin Fields.
Yeah.
I remember him. He was on one of them QB1 shows or something like that on Netflix. But anyway, what he has to realize is the NCAA is $1 billion company. They don't really care what you want. It's about their bottom line. If they feel like the TV deals is worth it, if they feel like they could get half the amount of people in the stands, they might think about it. If they're going to take a loss, it don't make any sense for them. So I do think this is a little different than basketball because basketball was mid-season. So those guys played the senior season. They just didn't get the conference championships, the NCAA tournament, so on and so forth. If a football season doesn't get played, the NCAA has to do something for this year eligibility. These guys, you don't lose a year eligibility if you don't play. So they should be able to, like you said, there's some seniors or juniors that might just go straight to the NFL. By all means, but for those guys who aren't, they should be able to still finish out their eligibility at their respective schools.
Right. So we'll see how it all plays out. I haven't heard anything from any other conference as far as wanting to get everything reinstated and come back in. Have a season. SEC, they announced their schedule. I believe it was yesterday on the SEC network. So, they're ready to go. You got a few conferences that are ready to go, and you have the other ones that already canceled out season. So, we'll see how that happens.
Oh, one more thing.
Yeah.
We saw what happened with the guy at Seattle Seahawks camp, sneaking the girl into the team hotel.
Mm-hmm.
It's stuff like that that's going to prevent an NCAA season. If these guys is pros, even though he was a young kid, if they can't keep them in line as far as a team bubble, not even an NFL wide or NCAA wide bubble, it's going to be tough to stop this sickness from spreading.
Yeah, and kind of transition over to the NFL. The training camps have started, so we're starting to see guys with pads on. So we've seen Denver Broncos. They have the little, they have the little sanitizer little thing you go under. So I think that's awesome and that's good. But we'll see it because they're all going home to their families, so they don't have any type of bubble or anything. So I know they're getting tested every day. They're somewhat staying socially distant, but we'll see how that all plays out. But going back to the college, I just honestly think it's hard for college kids because you think of some of your best years in life are in college when you're at parties and
tell us about some of those college parties, Mark.
Man, back with Brian, man.
She go throw something under the bus.
It was all with him, Brian and Richie. It was all with them. But anyways, just think about this. You're just out with your boys. You guys are going to a party and just all that stuff. It's I don't want to say it's impossible to try to keep these kids contained, but kids will be kids. And 17, 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old, they're going to act their age. So it's going to be tough to see if they can possibly have a solid season without having a huge outbreak.
Definitely going to take a Kobe personality to make sure that they could withstand
Definitely.
all the temptations and stuff like that that'll come along, especially in colleges.
Definitely.
And that's rare.
Yeah.
You don't even see too many of those in the pros. So
yeah. And shout out to Alex Smith. Sticking with the NFL, he's back.
He's in high school,
Anyway.
battling back. Come on, big
I know. I was glad to see him back just as a football fan, back in practice with pads, and everybody thought that after that gruesome injury, everybody thought that he never was going to come back. He had complications. He's had this and that, but just to see him back, I think it's a great sign. And also too, they actually have I believe they have the first black owner, I believe, or president. I think it's president. So Washington does. So that's Washington football team. So that's good to see that.
And Damian Sean Taylor wore 36 before he turned to 21. Not 38.
Damian's so old, he forgot to tune in last week. But you remember Damian? From 24.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Old dude, never passed the ball.
Oh, we had some battles.
Bow legs.
I lost a lot.
Legs look like a
back
triangle.
in the day.
When
he was actually still good.
Yeah. Back now, Damian don't got it. He had more surgeries than we got episodes. All right, so now let's get to the NBA, the action, the.
Wait, can we?
Oh, what you got? Want to talk about what?
No, I definitely don't want to talk about that. My boy, man, defensive lineman for the Cowboys. We just signed him this year. Was it Gerald McCoy? Is that his name?
Yeah, he shouted him out last week.
Yeah, just shouted him out. Get well, man. That sucks to see an injury like that, especially day 2 or 3 of training camp.
Yeah.
The Cowboys was able to get out from under that contract, which is unfortunate for him. Good for us. Hopefully we can spend that money wisely. But I just wanted to say that before we moved on from football.
Chad said he want to hear about the Suns.
They should have won more before Corona hit.
Yeah, and looking at a team like Portland, who fought their way back, and we'll see them tonight.
Is he talking about that, or is he talking about?
He's talking about Suns. And I'm gonna ask you guys this: who do you guys have for your bubble MVP?
Dame.
It had to be Dame. I would have been mad if they gave a co-MVP to him and Devin Booker, because Devin Booker went crazy too.
And it was 7-0,
8-0.
8-0. Yeah. So it's definitely tough. But you've always said get out of Phoenix. So
gotta get out of Phoenix.
That's.
I didn't know if he was talking about this.
Gonna speak on it.
Nah, we're gonna let him say that. I'm not bringing it up. I didn't know what Suns he was talking about, but
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get into our predictions, and as we get into these predictions for these games, we're gonna break down the games and what we saw from the games. We'll go ahead and start with the East first, and get that out of the way. So the Bucks, I actually had the Bucks sweeping Orlando, and so we obviously saw today that Orlando they came to play, and I think one of the biggest things with these, and we'll get into all the individual teams, but the home court advantage is, I think, going to be one of the biggest things that these teams will miss, just because when you're out of a game, you rely on that 6-man, 12-man, or whatever you want to call it, the crowd, to get you back in the game. So a lot of these teams just don't have that to back them up. So I had the Bucks in a sweep, but that's that.
I got the Bucks 4-1.
Well, you got the gentleman sweep still.
Yeah, I got them coming back and winning 4 straight. Okay. I don't think Orlando can keep it up with what they did. Pretty impressive, though. It was shocking.
Yeah, I don't think they keep it up either, which is unfortunate. What's his name had a big game tonight, the big kid, Vucevic. But I'm going to say this until I can't say it no more, until he gets a jump shot, a mid-range game, something. Mm-hmm. If you got 3 or 4 bodies that are 6'8" to 6'10", that are athletic enough to keep Giannis in front of you, it makes it hard for him. He still had his 30+, but it makes him hard to get going and get everybody else involved and kind of get the momentum going. Because when he gets going, it opens it up for the Lopez brothers to shoot threes, Middleton to hit a couple jumpers, Connaughton, everybody gets going. Mm-hmm. Bledsoe, they not helping out. He's getting to the cup. So it's, if you got 3 or 4 guys that can contain him at least. Mm-hmm. We saw it last year with the Raptors. They just threw, Siakam. They threw, I guess Kawhi held him for a little bit, but you just put bodies in front of him. Mm-hmm. The Sixers was a hard test for him too last year. They beat him, but it was they beat the Raptors. I'm sorry, but that's a tough matchup for him as well. So until he develops that next level to his game, whether it's a consistent 3-point shot or something off the bounce, and it's not cup or bust, it's gonna be tough for him, man. And I think they'll get out of this series too. But
you've always said Giannis isn't great, and I mean, he's
a great NBA basketball player. Don't get me wrong.
He's a great player, but when you look at his
athleticism,
when you look at his skill set, I mean, I agree with you. I mean, he doesn't have a shot yet, and I mean, if he's not down low, you can leave him open and have him shoot those threes. So,
but he's perfect for the NBA. He's athletic as all get out. The 1-2 Euro step he does is unstoppable. Mm-hmm. And if you slap him on the wrist while he gets by, you'll say and one. So he's perfect for the NBA. But like I said, when it comes down to the playoffs and skill set kind of matters a little bit more,
right?
It's tough for him. And if tough is 31-17, then by all means live your life in, man. But you want to see that 31 translate into a win. You know what I'm saying? We'll talk about the Jazz game in a little bit here, I'm sure.
Yep.
Where what's the name went for 57, but it didn't translate to a win, right? So.
Yep. All right, so now we have the Raptors and the Nets. Looking at I've always been, just throughout this whole year, once Kawhi left, I knew the Raptors obviously would make the playoffs, but I didn't think the Raptors would be what they've become, and just seeing how they're all from Pascal and Lowry, and I'm one of Lowry's biggest critics, and Van Fleet, just all those guys coming together and winning games, and I think I got this one. I got Raptors in 5 in this one.
Straight sweep.
Yeah, I got them in 4.
Defense is nasty.
Mm-hmm.
They play good defense, great team ball.
And then even the Nets too. I don't want to. I mean, obviously with some teams didn't get invited, all that stuff, but the Nets are actually playing somewhat decent without 2 of their best stars. So.
Well, the Nets are one of those teams. We saw it a few years ago with the Hawks. We saw it with, I believe it was the Jazz a few years ago, where they have great regular seasons because they got a bunch of guys, and it was the Nuggets, where they have really good regular seasons, but they can't get over the hump because they don't have a guy come playoff time to get you a bucket when you need it. Yeah. And I think that's kind of where the Nets are. They're a really good regular season team. They got a bunch of guys that can give you 15 to 20 on any night, but in the playoffs, you need a Van Fleet. You need a Kawhi. You need a PG. You need a LeBron. You need somebody that's going to go hard and just drop 37. You need somebody that's going to do that for you in these half-court possessions. And I don't see them having that guy. LeVert is really good, but I don't think he's there yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And unfortunately, with those two guys coming back next year, he might not get there. So
unfortunately, yeah. So I was really hoping KD would have played in the bubble, but I mean,
He played in Drake's video,
man, he looked good.
dunking and everything.
He's definitely 100% by now. I mean, but
I
around
don't know.
this,
Drake did give him a bucket. If he was 100%, Drake would score.
well, but just he's not gonna go all out, playing with Drake and stuff. But
It is Drake's video.
hey,
You gotta let him score.
Didn't J. Cole get an invite from? What's it? Charlotte?
Detroit, I think.
Detroit, yeah.
One of them, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm curious.
I just saw a video of Dave East in college
hooping.
6'5", wing forward. I don't know if you said Detroit.
Yeah.
I don't know if Detroit's seen that, but maybe you need to extend the offer to Dave East.
And he's much younger.
Yeah.
Cole's like 35, 34, 35.
Cole's
Cole's
in his
in
30s
his
for
30s,
sure. Yeah. All right, so we have we got the Pacers and the Heat. TJ obviously had a great bubble, season, if you will. But honestly, it's with the way the Heat's playing, Jimmy Butler, all those young guys. I honestly like the Heat. I don't know how far they'll get, but I got the Heat in 6. I think it's going to be a good matchup though between the two. I got the Heat in 6.
Same thing, Heat in 6. Watched the first game today. Real good defensive game, but in the clutch you need somebody that's proven, that's been there.
Mm-hmm.
And Butler, he's proven. I like him.
I love the little beef that
yeah.
him and TJ have with each other. So, and this goes back to the regular season too. So, so I like this matchup.
Well, if you remember when LeBron was in Miami, they still have beef with the Pacers. It goes back a little ways. Like these two teams, franchises just don't like each other.
Mm-hmm.
I got the Heat in 5, maybe even a sweep.
Okay.
To your point earlier, without fans in that bubble, it makes it a little less pressure filled for these younger guys. The two white kids that shoot the hell out of the ball for the Heat, like they're shooting with no crowd in their ear, with no real pressure on them, and they're making some tough shots. Yeah, so I think that helps them. I think they knock down shots. I think they advance in 4 or 5 games.
Yeah, so that's actually one of the most interesting matchups. I was really looking forward to this next matchup, the Sixers and the Celtics. Sucks that not Joel Embiid, but Ben Simmons got hurt. I honestly think it would have been a great battle. These teams always play each other tough in the regular season from years and years and years ago. It's always a good matchup between them. So, but without Ben Simmons, you get a Joel Embiid, and I think we saw that he's gonna fight. He's gonna play, and but coaching wise, I mean, sometimes you just got to go with the better coach in some situations. But I got the Celtics in 5.
Same thing, I got the Celtics in 5. 76ers don't have Redick anymore.
Yeah.
That was he was hitting big shot after big shot for him last year.
Yeah.
And, I mean, that's a big difference. And I don't think they have the same shooting that they did last year. But they definitely have to get the ball to Embiid a little bit more because, I mean, he's the one that can put pressure on the defense and make them collapse to create more open shots. So that would be my way to look. But I still got Celtics in 5. Yeah.
I think this series is going 6, maybe even 7 games, and I'll tell you why. Gordon Hayward is out, and that
I meant to mention that.
he only scored 12 points in game 1, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, but playoff experience. He's a vet guy on a team full of younger guys for the most part, without that much playoff experience. Last couple years they've been there, but it wasn't. They haven't made deep runs in the playoffs. One less guy in the rotation, which means probably Marcus Smart is getting more minutes, Wanamaker, one of those guys who just aren't Gordon Hayward. Now, I'm not going to compare that to Ben Simmons and his impact for the Sixers because I don't think it's equal. But I think that gives them a chance because they still got some guys. My guy Tobias Harris, who played with, I think Melvin Goins. You know Melvin Goins? Yeah, so they played together at Tennessee.
Horford.
They got
a
people on
the team.
And Horford got to get some get back. He was just with the Celtics, so I think he goes off one of these games, has a big game. But I think it goes 6, maybe even 7. I'd probably go with the kids you like a lot, Jason Tatum. Now's his time. He has to take that next step. And they got a chance to go to the finals. Let's be honest. They got a chance to make a run.
Right.
And so he has to grow up a lot in his next couple weeks. So
I honestly think that along to the point that you made last week, just with Jason Tatum, he got Jaylen Brown. You got a good running mate right there that has his days where he scores more, and then you also too can't forget about Kemba. So you have now Gordon Hayward is the fourth best player on the team, so I honestly don't feel that it would affect them that much. I still think that they'll still handle business and get out in 5, mainly just because you don't have somebody like Ben Simmons who isn't somebody that's going to knock down open shots, but he can alter a game on both ends of the floor, in my opinion. So, but definitely it's going to be a really good matchup, though. I'm excited for that one. So, all right, now to the West. We will end with the Lakers, since the Lakers are getting ready to come on right now. Let's go to the game last night that you started with, the Denver Nuggets and Utah. I mean, that was one of the best games. It always seems like Denver has some of the best games. Denver and Utah, they're always in bubble-wise, they're always in some good games. So, and then like you said earlier, 57 points from Donovan Mitchell. I think that the third highest in NBA playoffs, which is Michael Jordan was number one, 63. But
I think it was at the age. Might be at that age.
What?
He's like 23 or 24. I think at that age he got the third highest.
Yeah. So
and a Jazz playoff career highest for the team. So that's,
yeah.
I mean, he was balling.
No, it was the third highest playoff point. Yeah. Fifth for 50 playoffs, not regular season, but playoffs. So, but also too, he had a huge error just with the 8-second violation. I just think that obviously hurt the flow of the game. They were already up, so that obviously hurt him. So, and then you got Jamal Murray, who handled his business in overtime. So it's just looking at a team like this. I mean, Denver's definitely a team that you don't want to overlook. So, although I do have a lot of respect for Utah, I got Denver in 5.
I got Denver in 6. Murray actually impressed me more than I thought or remembered the last time I saw him. He was hitting at least 5 or 6 straight buckets in a row. And I was just watching that game. Him and Donovan Mitchell were going back and back and back and back and back. But Murray just stepped up. He hit two threes in a row and then a step back in the fourth quarter. And I was like, oh my goodness.
And in overtime.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. But I like Denver. They look like they're better suited to win that series. Even though Donovan Mitchell, he's going buck wild. I don't think they have a chance really.
Yeah. I'm gonna agree with you guys. I got them in 5, maybe 6, and it's more so for the others. The Joker, they've got young athletes on the wings. They got guys off the bench that are coming in scoring. Morris comes in and gives them good minutes, and really gives Murray a chance to be rested up enough to go for 20 in the fourth quarter. You know what I'm saying? Like I think that's the difference. Yeah, Donovan had 57. But you saw his shot start coming up a little short in the fourth quarter, overtime, and legs is going out. You know what I'm saying? Because he got to do that to keep them in the game the whole time. And Murray has the luxury of having a little bit better squad around him, and then the luxury of taking over, to your point, in the fourth quarter.
All right, so that's going to be another. I feel like in the West, you got all great matchups in the West. I'll go on this game first because I want to save the best 2 for last. Rockets and OKC, no rust tonight. Rockets did handle business. What they win by like 15, 20, something like that. This is one that I was really torn by just because you just look at the history and you look at Chris Paul with his old team OKC, and you got Russ and just the back and forth and obviously with no Russ, that obviously factors things. You just don't know how long he's going to be out. However, you do have James Harden, who's carried a team far in the playoffs without somebody like Russell Westbrook. So this one is pretty tough for me, and I had OKC in 6.
Oh, you had OKC.
I had OKC in 6. Chris Paul, I've always been one of Chris Paul's biggest critics. That's one of your favorite players. And I was the one that said, why did they give him so much money, Houston? Why did they give him all that much money? He's not worth it. And when you see him, what he's done with the team like this, a team that I think that when the over-unders came out, this team was like 30 wins.
Yeah, they weren't supposed to make the playoffs.
They weren't none of that stuff. And here they are in the 5th seed, I believe it is. So just to see what they've done and how far they've come, I think they're going to upset some people. We don't know how fast Russ is going to come back. I think OKC is going to make some adjustments, and they're going to come back, and I think they're going to win this one in 6.
I got the Rockets in 7, but I based that off of Westbrook being hurt.
Mm-hmm.
If he was healthy, I think it would have been a gentleman's sweep, most likely. But Harden, that small ball, it's hard to stop. But OKC they're built. They got Adams, who's just a rebounding machine,
Right.
and he can get those boards. And CP3 can control the game and control the pace to not let it get out of hand. So that's what I see that works for their benefit. But I don't think they can pull it out with their personnel, just to be honest.
Yeah, because it's the thing for Steven Adams in that game is, and he's one of their. I mean, looking at that roster, he might be fourth or fifth best player on the roster. I just don't see who he guards. It's a matchup problem for him. And he's not the most offensively skilled guy. Like, that's not where he makes his impact on the game. So he's not even taking advantage of a PJ Tucker or Gerald Green. Or not Gerald Green. What's my guy's name? Jeff Green, who's probably going to be guarding for the series. I got the Rockets in 5, maybe even a sweep. And I'm Chris Paul's biggest fan, if nobody else. But this is what we've seen him do. I will say this. This is what we've seen him do throughout his career. I always talk about his year he had when he was still with the Hornets, where I believe he had an MVP season where he took a team of young guys to the playoffs and had no business being there. The Clippers with Blake Griffin and they had DeAndre Jordan, but they had a good team. But I think kind of Chris Paul maxed them out. And I think to our point before we got on, we were talking about him in Houston. I mean, they had the Warriors on the ropes 2 years in a row. One he got hurt, the other they just couldn't pull it off. So. I mean, I don't know. I think my guy might be cursed. I don't know. He just ain't supposed to win the chip.
And I mean, it's you see a lot of the greats out there. I mean, when you look at somebody like Vince Carter, who we see that's on TV now, trying to give himself a broadcasting career. I mean, he's 22 seasons and
it's elusive,
at least 8, 9, maybe 10 teams. I mean, when you look at somebody like him, there's a lot of greats that just never won anything. Phillip Rivers, one of those guys. So all right, so.
Hell no, you can't put Phillip Rivers. Okay.
Hey, man, he's a Hall of Famer, isn't he?
I don't know.
Yes, he is.
I don't vote for him.
Romo's Hall of Famer. Well, Phillip would make it before Romo.
Why?
But because of Phillip is still in the league, Phillip would, he obviously wouldn't go in before Romo.
So you will vote for Phillip? Oh, never mind.
Yeah.
I know you would. That's
so they retire at the same time. Who would get in first?
Rivers would be for sure first ballot. It could be a case that Romo. It could be
Phillip Rivers gonna be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
It could be a case that Romo might get TO'd just because. I mean, when you break things down, Romo and stats and everything, man. I mean, he's a lovable guy. He's great. He's better in the booth than he was on the field.
When you break down his stats,
he has better stats than your guy.
No, he doesn't.
Yes, he just didn't win big games.
That's when it mattered most.
But you just said stats. Anyway,
all right.
There's if we're gonna on the air, it's gonna go on YouTube. It's gonna be on the record. If Phillip Rivers is the first ballot Hall of Famer, I'll give you $100 bill.
Make it $1,000.
$1,000 bet?
Yeah.
First ballot.
No, you said you'll give me $100.
No, that's a bet. $1,000 is a bet.
He'll be first ballot. What you want?
$100.
Let's do it. He'll be first ballot.
Right.
I need my sanitizer now. It's COVID season. All right, so Clips and Mavs. This game was. I mean, I don't even know where to start with this game. But for one, you have he feels that Luka is the second best player
in the world.
What do you for one? What do you feel about that? Would you put Luka in the category of being second best?
No.
Right now,
no.
I give him top 5. I feel like he will be one of those players eventually. I feel like him and Jason Tatum, I feel like they definitely will be 2, 3, 4 in a few years. Luka definitely is on his way for sure.
You got top 5. I might put him in top 10.
Oof.
Yeah. Might.
And I mean, he's one area where I feel that he lacks is just defensively. I feel like he's offensively. I think he's golden. He's set. He's only going to get better. But he just doesn't know the game as well defensively. I mean, sometimes too, like you said, when you play overseas, you pick up the game so much faster. So, but he is one of the best players in the league for sure.
Well, I mean, I watched a couple possessions. Obviously, they don't have him guarding Paul George and Kawhi all night. But what people don't he's 6'7".
6'7", man.
He's about 215. He
lost some weight too.
He made it hard. He made it hard on Paul George. He even stole the ball from him a couple times. Made it hard on Kawhi Leonard. These are NBA all-stars, all-league guys. You're not going to stop them from scoring. But he made it hard on these guys a couple times. And a lot of people I saw saying, if Porzingis doesn't get kicked out that game, the Mavs win.
They still lose, in my opinion.
I think they win the game if he stays in because it definitely changed at that moment. But I also think they have a better chance of winning the game if he doesn't have 11 turnovers. And that's my guy. That's like I said. But if you remember in the group chat, I said he was going to struggle. I didn't have him scoring 40, 42, best playoff debut ever.
Yeah, for best. Yeah.
For the age, yeah.
Yep.
And I mean, still had nine assists, 7 rebounds. But
and not to mention what he did. I think it was 2 games prior to that where he had a crazy triple double or whatever. Mm-hmm. So yeah,
and he just affects the game. And if you've seen this show before, you see I talk a lot about LeBron and how many ways he affects the game, how he makes everybody else better. For example, him in that game last night against the Clippers, who I think is going to win a championship this year, was more impressive to me against Paul George and Kawhi Leonard than Donovan Mitchell's 57 points against the Nuggets.
Chad said a white James Harden.
Way better.
Oof.
Better than Harden.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean...
James Harden didn't start getting assists until he had the ball in his hands every possession.
That's what Luka's doing.
I know, but he's doing that at 20, second year in the league. James
didn't really get comfortable with that till he got to Houston.
Yeah, and when he was force-fed.
Well, in OKC, he was coming off they would put him in at the point when Westbrook was getting out of control. I don't know if y'all remember that.
Yeah.
They would move him to the wing because Harden could dictate the pace of the game and control it. That's what won him that series against the Spurs back then. When they went to the finals.
Hey, and I'm a James guy. I saw James in person. He was a man amongst boys in college, but I mean, the facts are the facts. I'm just saying, it's a fact. He's 6'5", handling the ball, like you said. And he was this size then. Like he didn't get much bigger in the league.
He was
James always been a man. Pause. But Luka, I think, and he's a point guard. James is a shooting guard that transitioned into point guard. And to your point, he was doing that off the bench with 2 other superstars. You know what I'm saying? Like he wasn't the guy on that team, and I loved him back then. I think if that team stays together with those 3 guys and the way Serge Ibaka came along eventually, I think they win at least 2 championships out there if they could keep them all together, at least. But I'm a James guy. People always think I be hating on everybody because, I got these guys top 5, top 10 in the world, so it's not a bad thing for James, but I just think Luka does so much and gets so much out of that roster because we've seen Porzingis for the last few years and the Knicks kind of gave him away.
Well, that's also a testament to Carlisle too. You put Luka in the right system, right personnel. That just makes things better. That's like putting Harden in a D'Antoni system.
Right.
All his stats inflated.
Yep.
You just put him in the right situation.
And I think James is one of those guys.
Harden, but I don't even like Harden, but he's better than Luka. Yeah.
No, of course he's better than Luka. But if I'm starting a team, maybe I should change my argument. If I'm starting a team right now, I'm picking Luka over everybody except for LeBron James. And LeBron James will always be that for me.
Yeah. So to this game, Luka had a great game. He had Kawhi and Kawhi with 29, Paul George with 27. Paul George it's crazy because when you think of the Clippers, you think of Kawhi, you think of the greatness of Kawhi. And a lot of people do forget about Paul George and how he can, come and light it up and give you, 6 threes in a game or whatever the case is. So, they had a great game. I do feel like just with the technicals, it's like, come on now, man. We're in a playoff game. The first technical was horrible. The second one's like, come on, man. Guys can't get into each other's faces now. It wasn't like they were throwing punches at each other and stuff.
It was a push.
But it's not like you're like, okay, cool. I punch you, you punch me. We're going back. Okay, cool. Double tap. All right, whatever. But that's all I'm saying. Just let them play. It's gonna be fiery battles, and it's only gonna get worse from here on out because these teams want to win. You're in a bubble. You're away from your families. Families are coming pretty soon. But at the end of the day, it's just like you're all there for one reason. Just let them play. No fans are there. It's not gonna get too riled up. Just let them play.
Let me ask you this, because I see what you're saying and I agree. But I also think some of the onus falls on the player in that, especially as your second superstar on your team. You saw Paul George get a tech early. You get a tech early. You see how the refs are calling this game. Is it on the player a little bit to kind of understand that and not even put himself in that position? Because he ran across the court.
Oh, definitely. One, you always should have a person on your team that will take that tech for you. You don't have how many times you see Pippen go and get a tech for Jordan? You got Oakley's and Horace Grants, and you got the third, fourth person on the team that comes in to get that tech to step in. You don't get your second best player to come in there and jeopardize him.
That's a good point. And that might be what they're missing in this series, because all the tough guys that the Clippers got.
Beverly Morris, they're gonna get under your skin all day long.
Easy.
And they did that. That was the two guys. And Beverly, I think is so funny. Like, he is literally a pest this series. Like, he don't care if he foul out. Yeah. He don't care what he do, but he gonna get under your skin.
In the first half, they left him in the game with 3 fouls. He got the third quick one. He thought he was coming out. Doc was like, "Nah, you good. I'm staying there. I'm resting loop. Yeah. I was like, dang."
So in this matchup, I do have really just defensively. It's hard to when you have a Kawhi and you have a Paul George, and it's hard to. You can throw different defenders on them. That's going to be tough as is. But when you look at with the Mavericks, there's gonna be a second guy, and obviously we saw the game alter because now your game plan goes away for KP. Now it's all on Luka. So Steph or Seth can he can light it up. He can hit you for 21 game, and he can get you with 3. Or same thing with Hardaway Jr. So I don't know. I just feel like down the road. Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say the difference in skill and production between Porzingis and what's his name, Boban.
Yeah, Boban. Yeah.
Like, the gap in between the two and the skill sets and how limited Boban is, like, that's only what? They won by what? Single digits?
And then in the beginning of the game, too, obviously every team makes adjustments, but wasn't it 18-2 at one point? 18-2. Something like that? Like, it's...
But then, even after that, the Mavericks had a double-digit lead.
Yeah.
When Porzingis got kicked out around that time. So, yeah. I don't know. I think the great equalizer is a three-point ball. And they definitely have the shooters here in Dallas.
Playoff P. Remember him? Chad saying that last time?
Who, Paul George?
Yeah, playoff P.
Paul George ain't won a meaningful series yet. He better win something. Dame Lillard, I was watching a rerun of the Joe Budden podcast, and Dame Lillard was on there after he hit that game winner on him last year.
Yeah. Yeah, and then in the interview, he was like, "Yeah, he just got sent home by me last year." I was like, I know that had to hurt.
But you open yourself up to that kind of stuff when you jump on the bandwagon with Pat Bev. Pat Bev don't care.
Yeah.
If you're gonna get sensitive, man, let him do his thing by himself.
So I got the Clippers in 5 in this one. They just got too many weapons. They're too deep. When you look at what they can bring, they can. And I really miss Zubac. Like I miss that dude. I just feel like now we have 3 7-footers, but Zubac he's something special, and he's young. He's only gonna get better, but I definitely would take him over JaVale McGee and Dwight any day.
You would?
Yes.
Dwight's a Hall of Famer, no?
Well, yeah, because of what he did defensively back when centers weren't even really.
And offensively.
Well, yeah, alley-oops and all that stuff. I mean, it don't matter how he scores. I mean, but at the end of the day, at this point in his career, he's a decent role player. But Zubac, you can build off of that. He's only going to get better.
Don't look at me.
You asked the question. I'm answering your question. That's what I want. So
you rather have him over him and him.
I got the Clippers in 5. Just because Kawhi can Cadillac. You got Lou that's going to get buckets. You got PG that's going to get buckets. So your closer can rest, play D and rest until it's the fourth quarter, and then he can just take over. Dallas has to hit threes. I know they shot like 60% in the first half from 3.
They fell off.
Yeah, and then they taper down substantially. So if they can shoot the ball, they can stay in the game. But if it's close, I'm going to give the team with experience the nod. And that, the Claw, he's done it 2 different cities. So
I'm with you.
I'm gonna go that way.
I'm with you. I think though for them to win a championship this year, I actually think Paul George has to be the closer. And we've seen Kawhi make some tough shots last year, but Marlon said a little earlier, the Raptors and how they're playing this year, like that was the same roster he had last year. Like them guys was not sorry last year. Like they could play. But I just think Paul George is more of a shot maker.
More versatile scorer.
Yeah, more versatile scorer. There we go.
Yeah.
Marlon, what we supposed to be talking about next, man? See, this is why I signed up for 30-minute episodes.
What up?
The episode is 42 minutes, and you ain't hear the transition. That's what's next.
Oh, I thought you were still talking.
Yeah, I said the Clippers gonna beat the Lakers.
Oh, so we're not going an hour and a half like last?
Nah.
Oh, okay.
Hey, shift the camera a little bit while you're over there. We could go an hour and a half. I'm going to sleep. And I'm missing Dame bust these Lakers butts.
What score?
16-9 early.
Get some commentary.
Trailblazers.
You gotta work on the fly.
That's gonna be a good series.
LeBron.
Wait, who's checking LeBron? That's what I want to know.
Dame Lillard. That's what I was about to say. LeBron can't let Dame Lillard check him. If LeBron's the player I think he is, he can't let Dame Lillard check him in this series. That's a problem. And I think that's KCP. It looked like Rondo for a second.
All right, so to the game that's on right now, Lakers and Portland. This is a game that I do think we'll win in 6. However, I feel that you got to respect the 2. You got to respect Dame. You got to respect CJ. CJ can be 100% off one day, and he can turn around and he'll hit a game winner or something like that. And then Dame is logo Lillard. I mean, he's gonna continue to do what he's done. And now we don't have an answer for him, mainly because Avery Bradley is a one guy. Like I said last week, he's a one guy that can at least go back and forth and do his best with holding both of them, CJ and Dame. So it's one of the questions I wanted to know was who was going to guard LeBron, and also too, who's going to guard AD. And we got, when we want to go big, we can go big, and they don't have an answer for us. So I do have the not necessarily proud about this or happy about this or confident, if you will, but I got them in 6. But it's going to be a tough matchup.
I got the Lakers in 6, but I think this might have potential to be like the Mavericks when they played Golden State, when Mavericks were number 1 and they lost to the 8th seed.
Mm-hmm.
If Portland can get the Lakers to play a different type of ball, then they have a really good chance. But LeBron, being the savant that he is, I think he's going to be able to control the pace of the game and dictate how he wants things to go.
And when LeBron wants to be LeBron, nobody can hold him. But LeBron doesn't necessarily, I know he can. He could turn it off and on when he wants to. But one of my biggest issues with LeBron, and I've said this last year too, you just don't know what type of LeBron wants to show up. If he's going to come out and start firing threes, and he's definitely he's in a new chapter of his LeBronness, if you will. But you just don't know which LeBron is going to come out with Dame. You know exactly what Dame's gonna come. He's gonna be firing at things.
Buckets.
I mean, Kawhi, PG, they're gonna shoot. That's what they do. And sometimes LeBron likes to facilitate and get other people involved, point guard or not. But whenever he wants to be LeBron, nobody can stop him. Who's gonna hold him? Carmelo?
That's what I was gonna say. Is, well, first of all, shout out to LeBron for wearing the Crenshaw LeBron 17s. Rest in peace, Nipsey.
By the way, Kobe Day 8/24. They're wearing the I think they're wearing like Kobe patches or like
no, they're wearing the Mamba inspired uniform.
Yeah,
the all black ones.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, LeBron needs to. He usually game ones he fills out the series, and this year he's been the facilitator. We saw him in year 17 lead the league in assists. But I think in this playoff series especially, he's going to have to be Miami LeBron. Like, he's going to have to, separate himself from everybody else on the court for them to get through this without an issue. I think if they don't win it in 5, they might as well go home because they're not beating the Clippers. So it don't matter how many games they win this in if they don't win it in 5.
I
don't even play round 2. Just go home. Go see your kids.
And that's another matchup I don't want to see. And that's another thing too. We've been last in almost every single stat, team wise, there is.
In the bubble?
And and it's bad. I don't know if it's a case of, because I think AD was out a game or 2, and then you have we obviously clinched after one or 2 wins. So I don't want to use the excuse of we got the 1 seed, we're chilling. No, because we need to be prepared for these games, because we mess around and come unprepared towards a Blazers team who's not even 500, and here they are in the playoffs. They have a chance, they have a shot, And just 2 months ago, Dame was like, I'm not going out there if we don't have a chance to make the playoffs. And here they are in the playoffs. They're hungry. They ain't got nothing to lose. Carmelo definitely don't have nothing to lose. He's trying to obviously get a ring. He's another one that could be cursed because he don't have a ring. And Dame is it's.
I don't think Carmelo cursed. I think Carmelo chased the money. He was trying to get paid more than trying to win.
He had that chance in New York, though.
Mm-hmm.
When he had Kidd and
York,
Chandler.
he had a decent team in New York.
Oh, he had a nice squad. JR.
But even still,
JR.
in Denver, you got AI, you got JR, you got Nene, you got you got a good squad.
Kobe was in the West.
Hey,
Kobe was
greatness
in the
is right there, but he still had a squad. Carmelo also never made it to a Western Conference Finals, but it is what it is. Like I said, he could have been one of the ones that's cursed as well, but now he has a second chance. So,
but you mentioned coaching earlier. I've never seen Frank Vogel win anything. I don't know if he has before or not. Maybe I'm wrong. Somebody tell me in
we
the
didn't
chat.
have we had Ty Lue. That was going to be the guy, but we gave him a 3-year deal, but he wanted a 5-year deal. That was going to be the guy. And at that point, it was on panic mode. We had to go and figure out who we were going to hire because there was no candidates left.
That doesn't matter. They got him now, and he's the one you guys want to lead. The fact I told you guys this a couple episodes ago.
Gentry
When he's playing KCP, Quinn Cook over Deion Waiters and J.R. Smith, guys that can score the basketball, especially when you're playing against the highest scoring team in the bubble, you need offense. Quinn Cook, great story. I love the PG special about, Prince George County in Maryland, D.C., whatever it is. Cool. He don't need to be on the court. He can't guard Dame, he can't guard CJ, and he can't score on either one of them. So he ain't gonna be playing in the playoffs. Why is he getting minutes? Put J.R. Smith out there. He got playoff experience. He makes tough shots. Deion Waiters can still get a bucket. He's still a little overweight, but he can get a bucket. Like KCP is doing a good job of chasing Dame around, but coaching is an important factor in this too. Right?
And also, too, we can't sit here and act like we have our Danny Green's going to run around chase him, and he'll do that for a little bit, or they may put him on Carmelo just because he's a little bit bigger. But
they put LeBron on Melo. Let LeBron rest.
Yeah. Unfortunately, because Melo ain't going to do that much running.
Yeah, no, he's a spot up guy on this team. Damn, hit Caruso with a step back.
You said letting him take shots. In Houston.
Yeah, that's why everybody thought he was done.
Mm-hmm.
Like, now I'm standing over here freezing. Watching James.
You go from a volume score to, hey, you're going to get 10 shots instead of 20.
And then one more thing on this, just with Rondo, the fact that he's coming back, he's cleared, but he's not going to play this game. But he's going to be the one that we're going to need for him to run around. But hopefully that thumb is okay because, he's going to be doing a lot of running
I don't know how
around.
young you feel like Rondo is.
Rondo
Rondo be chasing things.
Yes, I promise you he is. Rondo ain't got no choice right now. Rondo's on 1-year contracts, year in and year out. Rondo. He's not gonna get no big contract anymore, but Rondo don't have no choice.
Rondo got what the rest of these guys don't got, other than LeBron and J.R. Smith?
A ring.
So he got a choice.
He's not gonna retire. If that's the case, he would have retired versus taking the league minimum.
No, I understand.
It's the second year in a row he took league minimum.
He's a proven guy. He don't gotta do.
The last big contract he got was 1 year, $10 million, and I think that was with.
We're gonna stop talking about that. Like that's a little bit.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, like, I'm sure he's trying to get another ring because if not, he would have retired. So.
Yeah, but I'm just saying
he's definitely not.
He's not the point guard he was in Boston. He's not.
Well, yes, but still,
yeah,
he's still
10 years ago.
Yeah.
He's still. Yeah, they won in 07. Yeah, they won in 07.
Isn't that when they beat the Lakers by like 40 in that close?
Don't worry about that. So, but Rondo still that. No, it might have been 09. No, because we won back to back 09 and 2010. So
it was 08, wasn't it?
08, yeah, 08 they won,
12
and then we beat them again the year after. But yeah, so. I don't know. The fact that he's coming back is going to help because Caruso for sure can't hold Dame. Caruso could barely hold. He probably can't even hold CJ. So I don't know, but
I like Caruso. I
I
like his energy. I like his willingness to score. I feel like a lot of guys, especially younger guys, when they play with LeBron, they defer a lot.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen him.
He don't care.
Not be scared to take shots. Yeah,
which is good. So, all right. So, finals predictions. Who you guys got?
Let our guest answer that. Because mine is going to spark a conversation that I don't want to have.
I got the Clippers and Boston.
Hey, he got your boy Jason Tatum.
But after seeing the Raptors play, kind of like them. I'm really.
That will be to one of the best storylines after Kawhi.
Dude, because like Boston, they're good, but Raptors got that pedigree. They've been through it. I mean,
every single guy on that team has
been through it.
Yeah.
So that could be a difference maker. But I got Boston. I got the Clippers beating Boston in 6.
Wow.
See, and I love it when your best player has the ball in his hand. And in Toronto right now is Van Fleet and Lowry. Like those two guys have the ball in their hand. And yes, Siakam is.
They're trying to push Siakam.
Yeah, they trying to push Siakam, but when the lights come on and that scoreboard light up, Van Fleet shows you who was the best player on the team. Like, okay, we need a 30 piece. I'm gonna go get one.
Yeah.
But I like that because they set the pace, they control the game, and then they facilitate and they can score. So that's the same reason I like Luka, which is why I said Luka's 11 turnovers lost in the game. Now, of course, he's getting fouled out or teched out. But I got the Clippers winning over, and I'm with you. It's tough. Going into the playoffs, I had 4 teams before Ben Simmons got hurt. I had the Sixers, the Bucks, the Celtics, and the Raptors all like right there, neck and neck. But I'm with you. I think the Raptors, Celtics. And I just think the Celtics get outclassed in the finals. Probably a sweep, maybe 5-game final.
Damn.
You got a bunch of second, third year guys and Kemba who never really been out the first round. So
yeah, and then on top of that, I mean, it's kind of off topic, but it isn't. It was funny that just that stat of him and LeBron going at it and how he's like never beat. Was it LeBron?
I don't think they ever won a game, let alone a series.
Yeah,
They swept them every time.
Yeah. So
Kemba versus LeBron?
Yeah.
It was something like that. It was some stat about Kimba and it was.
But it was like Bobcats versus the Cavs and the Heat. So it was a little unfair, but still, that's got to be mentally. I think this year was the first time he beat him. Or maybe last year, even in the regular season game.
Yeah, that's what it was. Regular season game. He's never beat LeBron ever in a regular season. I think it was like 24-0 or something like that. Can you imagine playing a dude 24 times and not beating him?
Coach.
Like that's.
My foot hurts today.
Yeah, after 10, I'm like, all right,
you got to tell Brad Stevens, hey, coach, I don't know if you ever heard this stat before. But
yeah, I know. It's just popped up on Bleacher Report.
If I just rest today,
y'all don't need me, right? I know I'm making like 150, but yeah, it'll be all right.
If I'm LeBron, truth be told, every time I see him, I was like 24-0.
Yeah, every time.
25-0.
Yeah.
Mid-season, I had, I think it was probably like February, or it's not touchscreen. It's old.
It's outdated.
Yeah. Mid-season, I had Lakers and the Bucks. Honestly, just like they're both at the peak of their game. I did that, but after looking at everything, looking at the bubble, I got Lakers and Celtics. I said this a few years ago. I said, we will see the Lakers and the Celtics in the finals again. I got LeBron winning his last championship and getting a statue out in LA. Lakers in 7 in that one. So, but it's gonna be.
You think the
one ring he gets a statue?
Yes. Come on now. I mean, for one, it's LeBron. If this was like if another average person or above average comes over, like Paul George. If Paul George came instead of LeBron and Paul gets a ring, I don't think he gets a statue. But because LeBron is LeBron, they're going to put him right out there, close by Shaq. I believe they're building Kobe's pretty soon. But yeah, Shaq's is actually pretty cool. He's like way up dunking on the thing. But
that's in the past. Lakers are getting smacked right now by 16 just for the record.
Okay. So speaking of legends, we'll do this last thing and then we're out of here. We'll say how good you on your toes. I talked to you about this.
What?
Let's go. What you got to say about it?
Yo, stop acting like you ain't text me.
Hey, you good in that category though. Remember what you were telling me? So Mount Rushmore. Your Mount Rushmore. Last time we did the Mount Rushmore, you gave 3. So let's see if you have another one on there. So Mount Rushmore, who you got?
Well, first, my Mount Rushmore is not necessarily my favorite players.
Okay.
Bird, Bron, Jordan, Magic.
And I just want to say that was my exact Mount Rushmore minus Bird.
You had 3.
I had Magic, Mike, and
Who
LeBron.
did you have out?
You said I had Kobe out. But he added Bird to my 3, basically.
And that's the thing, too, with Bird. I mean, Bird is... A lot of people just don't realize what Bird kind of did for the game, so...
Well, him and Magic saved the game of basketball that we get to watch today.
Right.
That little rivalry coming up in college.
And even back in college, too, yeah. So, yeah.
They made basketball popular again.
I got to put, of course, Jordan. Got to put Kobe in there. Do Magic. And then LeBron.
Why'd you say it like that?
I wasn't the biggest LeBron fan, just because it was always Kobe versus LeBron. I wasn't the biggest LeBron fan, but
And it's never been Kobe versus LeBron. I don't know if you ever noticed.
well, it's just no. I'll put it like this. If you were growing up as a Kobe fan, you just didn't like LeBron because Kobe was just Kobe.
Yeah, they were pushing that narrative.
Yeah, they were. And
Kobe
so
had the rings, LeBron didn't. Hey,
Exactly.
Remember the question? You got the rings? How many rings?
Exactly. So that's honestly really what it was.
So you're sheep is what you're telling us. The commercials worked on you.
I've been a Kobe fan my whole life, and you know that.
But
So
I understand that, and I've been a LeBron fan since he came in the league. But I mean, I don't know if you remember this, but I thought Melo was going to be the better one out of them two when they came in the league. I was a big Melo guy at Syracuse and all that kind of stuff. But my whole thing is just Kobe is Kobe, LeBron is LeBron. Is that like they didn't play any meaningful games? Like I still see people. I'm a Cowboy fan. I still see 49er fans who hate the Cowboys. We haven't played you guys in 20 years. You didn't even watch football when they played the last meaningful game. Why do you hate the Cowboys? You know what I'm saying? Like they never played each other.
that old school rivalry, you know.
Yeah, but if you're 30, you didn't see the catch. You know.
Yeah.
You didn't watch that.
I saw the drop though. The Dez Bryant drop.
Hey man,
Shout out to Dez.
peace.
Man,
We are.
Dez Bryant with the workout with Baltimore. That's it's not a horrible fit. So I hope that he gets a job. But just back to your point though, with just those rivalries, I just think that you just have different rivalries with different teams. Green Bay, obviously out of your division, but you got Green Bay, San Francisco. That's always a good one. Green Bay, Pittsburgh. Just all those different rivalries. But that's just really my biggest thing. But last thing, do you guys feel that LeBron will pass Jordan as the greatest of all time, or is LeBron already surpassed Jordan as the greatest of all time?
You know my answer. That's a question for you. He knows what I think.
Me, no. I don't think it's possible. If you go for stats and averages, yes, his overall longevity, I can see it. I can see the argument there.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as like dominating a time span, 6 championships in what, 13 years, 15 years, Jordan?
Really, 8 years.
Well, I mean, yeah.
But yeah.
Versus, right now, 3-17. Jordan, defensive player of the year, steals leader. I mean, it's a lot of things that Jordan did on both sides of the ball. But on the other side, LeBron's asked to do more. So his numbers are going to look better as far as the rebounding and steals. Jordan had Pippen and Rodman and Grant, like people that had no issues with, hey, I'm just going to rebound for you. I'm going to play the defense. You're like, I'm going to do this. So he didn't have that burden. They said, Jordan, hey, get buckets, lock up. I don't need you to do nothing else. You got the triangle. For LeBron, every coach, except for the one that, what was his name for Cleveland, where they fired him after winning?
Oh, Black?
Black.
Yeah.
He's the one that tried to run an offense, like a traditional offense, and they were like, nah, this ain't working. Put LeBron at the top, let him control everything, So that gets him the numbers, but I still can't. Jordan's going to be my GOAT.
Yeah.
What's your answer?
This is a question for you two. I'm playing Mike Greeny right now.
So, Kobe?
Yeah, that's because them is already said and done. There's no more growth.
I honestly feel like LeBron will pass him statistically, and I'm pretty sure he has passed him in a ton of other stats. But when you look at it, it just depends on how you look at finals. If you just want to focus, because a lot of people just focus on finals. They focus on titles, they focus on MVPs and all that stuff versus they look at all the individuals. And like you said, LeBron has been asked to do more. I think the last dance that we saw a few months ago was a reminder that Jordan is still Jordan. And although Jordan did have a better team, I personally do feel that Jordan was and still is the best player to ever play the game of basketball. And will be after the LeBron's era is over, after he has the most points of all time, all those stats. Like he's gonna be number one in not number one in assists, but he'll be number one in a ton of stats and especially anybody in his class. But Jordan is the GOAT, and then right behind Jordan you got Kobe.
So this is why LeBron James is the best player ever. Because yes, we saw Mike win 6 championships, right? 6 for 6 in the finals. But what a lot of people discredit is LeBron did dominate a decade, 9 straight finals, right? So that is dominating a decade. Obviously, he didn't win every finals he was in, clearly. And to LeBron's credit, he only lost one he should have won. That was to the Mavericks.
Yeah.
The Warriors were better than them. The Spurs were, just as good, if not better. They had 4 Hall of Famers on that squad that beat them in Miami. And I think what's so ironic to me, that, and you guys both said it too, the biggest knock on LeBron is he can't shoot. Coming up in the league, he couldn't shoot.
And his whole
and he
career
wasn't
in
clutch,
Cleveland, pretty much,
right?
For the most part.
But you guys both said he's going to be the all-time leading scorer when it's all said and done.
Mm-hmm.
We already know the assist numbers. Hell, he led the league in assists in year 17. But I think that matters, sustained excellence. And it matters to me. Nobody ever says this. Yes, Jordan 6 for 6 in the finals, but he played 15 years, 14 years. He didn't make the finals 8 years. That means he lost before he got there. Whether that was first round, second, he lost before he got to the finals. That matters. If we're counting finals losses against LeBron, why aren't we counting second round losses for LeBron, second round losses for Kobe, first round losses for Jordan, first round losses for Kobe? That's unfair to me, but LeBron is the only player to come in with those expectations that he had since 16 years old, live up to them, and to some extent, in some people's mind, surpass even those expectations. So that's why I got LeBron.
So I got a little caveat.
Mm-hmm.
LeBron went 9 straight? All right. You wouldn't believe me, but if you look up the playoff win percentage, it's almost the same.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless if he loses in the first round, second round, we're splitting hairs, literally.
Mm-hmm.
Field goal percentage within 1%.
Right.
Win percentage within 1%.
Mm-hmm.
3-point percentage within 1%.
Mm-hmm.
Only differences is rebounds and assists. LeBron averaged 3 or 4 more rebounds and 2 more assists, I think, with Jordan.
Right.
So it's really, and they play different positions.
Yeah.
So
and different mindsets. They approach the game very different. But if I shoot 80% from the free throw line and I shoot 15 free throws, and you shoot 80% from the free throw line, and you shoot 100 free throws, it's a little different. It's a little different. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So and trust me, man. And that's what sucks about these conversations, the Kobe and Jordan, the Kobe and LeBron Jordan, is because it's almost in a way you're downplaying the other guy. Let's be honest. Michael Jordan is Michael Jordan. There's no, if anybody says that, I'm fine with it. I think it's Kobe, or I think it's Magic, Jordan, and LeBron has put itself in that conversation. So any one of those three, I can't argue with, because we don't talk about Magic about enough.
Yeah.
He got 5 in 10 years.
Yeah.
And played every single position.
Yeah.
What we gotta look at? Who he played with?
Well, yeah.
They stacked the squad those first rings.
And
but he was still Finals MVP, wasn't he?
They stacked the squad. That was the Warriors in the 80s.
Wait, we just watched the Last Dance, like Marlon brought up. The Bulls wasn't stacked.
No. I'm talking about the
Lakers Showtime.
No, I'm asking the Bulls. The Bulls was never the underdog going into a playoff series.
Yeah, they were.
When?
Huh?
When?
Seattle? Phoenix?
In the finals?
Yeah. Did they have home court advantage?
Yo, being the favorite and having home court advantage is two different
They had
things.
better record.
Yeah, better record, worse
Phoenix was
schedule.
supposed to beat the Bulls in '92.
That was their first one.
Second.
Nah, I'm not buying it. Who did Phoenix have? That was Charles Barkley and Kevin
I
Johnson.
think they won like 64, 65 games that year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Barkley, Marley, KJ, Benjamin, Gordon Benjamin, I think that's his name. They had a nice squad.
They was
Put up
better than
points.
the Bulls.
They were like they weren't better than the Bulls.
That's what I'm saying, man.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
You said the favorite. You said the favorite though.
When I say the favorite, I'm talking about like when you saw the Heat playing the Mavericks, you was like, oh, the Heat need to win this in a sweep.
Oh, definitely.
That's what I'm saying. It wasn't nothing like that for the Bulls.
I love this. I just love. I know you guys are
You still ain't tell us who.
back and forth. Yeah, I did.
Oh,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, you said you got Kobe over. Yeah, you got Kobe
Yeah.
over.
You
All
got
right,
Kobe
John.
over- You got Kobe over Jordan too?
No.
Oh,
No. As far as what best of all time?
yeah.
No, I just got Kobe second over LeBron.
Did you hear Gilbert Arenas' argument for Kobe?
No.
He said if you look at it, Kobe did more with less. Because he didn't have his biggest hands. He didn't have his, a higher vertical. He wasn't as fast. So he's saying Kobe did actually, overachieve based off his potential than Jordan did.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a different way to look at it. And I never thought about it like that. So I was like, that's interesting.
Kobe was also.
I mean, Kobe had a 40.
Yeah.
Jordan had a 46 or 48 or whatever, something like that. So I mean,
and he. This is what a lot of people don't give credit to, and why I look at guys like Jordan, Magic, and LeBron. Kobe had a blueprint to follow. Kobe watched everything MJ did and emulated it. He did the same exact routines.
He'll be the first to tell you too.
Yeah, and that was his game. Like Jordan didn't have a guy to say, okay, well, don't get me wrong. I'm sure he had influences and guys he looked up to. But he had the blueprint down to the freaking offense he ran with Phil Jackson. You know what I'm saying? Like, because that's another thing that isn't talked about.
Yeah,
Phil Jackson changed Kobe's career.
His mindset, I just think I think he kind of had the mindset early on in his career, but when you have somebody that's, that's like Phil, and you have, Shaq, and obviously you see, I would have loved to be, in somebody's shoes like Kobe, to see you're in high school and you're doing this and you're doing that and you're coming into the league while Jordan is like at his like highest, and you're just like, man, like, it's just like some of these kids when they come in and they like, could you imagine how starstruck Lonzo Ball was? Lonzo, and then all these other kids just playing with LeBron, like, let alone, like it's one thing to see him a few times a year as you play, but being on the same team as him. So, but yeah, no, he had the blueprint. So, but other than that, man, y'all got anything else?
No, we're gonna sleep.
Ready to see these games? Well,
See the rest of
what's
the
the
game.
score?
Lakers down 12. They just gave Dwight Howard a technical foul
Oh boy.
on a free throw attempt by LeBron James when Dwight Howard was being held. This ref right here don't like him. The black dude.
I do have a question for you.
Was that the dude that threw LeBron out?
I don't know. Not him. It's another.
No, it's not saying.
Okay.
It was this guy down here, I think, that called the technical and then just called that BS foul on him too.
All right.
Well, what's up? What you got?
What would LeBron's record be if he had Popovich or Pat Riley or Phil as a head coach?
Let's see. That's what I'm saying.
Now that's the thing I always wanted to see. I wanted to see him go under one of them that could make it easier for him.
Yeah, and help him. He's always been the one thinking the game for his team, as opposed to, coming to the sideline and listening and learning. Like, who has he learned from as a coach?
The coaches learn from him.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, Tyrone Lue's coaching career is because of LeBron. I don't know, man. I think that's a great argument too. That's
But
an argument, just a great point. Like
other than that, guys, it's a wrap. My baby's hollering upstairs. for Danny. So Jay, appreciate you for joining, my man.
Appreciate you.
Man. We'll
Next
catch y'all
episode
next
at my
week.
house.
Can we do episode 40 at your house? Let's get our Kobe episode here.
Yeah,
We're gonna finish with the Kobe episode. 24 minutes and 8 seconds for Kobe. And yeah, other than that, we'll see y'all next week.
We need every Kobe episode. There's only
No.
4 minutes.
Peace.
We out.
Have a good time. I gotta watch this.
What's score again?